I'm Mr. Dunn.
And I'm Mr. Herdefeld. This year, as 5th graders, you'll have the option to sign up for band or orchestra and learn an instrument. In this video, we're going to demonstrate all the instruments that you can play. I'm the orchestra teacher, and the orchestra instruments you can learn are the violin, the viola, or the cello.
The band instruments that you can learn this year are the flute, the clarinet, the trumpet, or the trombone. And now, Mr. Herdefeld is going to demonstrate the instruments available for the orchestra family. Take it away, Mr. Herdefeld.
All right, thank you, Mr. Dunn. The first instrument that I'm going to show you for the orchestra is the violin. The violin is the smallest and highest sounding of the string instruments. You might know from science class that vibration is what causes sound. In a stringed instrument, there's two ways that we can cause that vibration. We have these strings going across the instrument, so the first thing we can do is pluck the strings like this. The other more common way to make sound on a string instrument is to take a bow and run it across the strings like this. That's what the violin strings sound like. Now, to change the note on a string, we take our fingers and put them on the string like this. So that's what the violin sounds like. Now remember, I said the violin is the highest sounding instrument, so we can also go way up here. This is the violin. The next instrument that I have to show you is the viola. Now the viola looks very similar to the violin. I have a lot of people come to me and say, hey, that's just another violin. And I could see why you would think that. To see the difference between them, we have to hold them up next to each other. And you'll notice that the viola is slightly larger than the violin. And a larger instrument is going to make a lower sound. The viola strings, when you pluck them, sound like this. And when we bow them, they sound like this. Now, the viola can sometimes sound very similar to the violin and play a lot of songs that the violin can. But the viola can also go much lower than that. And that's the viola. The last string instrument that you have to choose from is the cello. The cello is the biggest and the lowest sounding of the string instruments. Now the cello might look really big and heavy, but notice I'm just holding it out straight up like here, like this. And I'm not the strongest person in the world, and I can do this easily. So the cello is not as heavy as it looks. And the reason for that is that it's hollow. So you're only looking at this outer box of wood, and it's not very heavy. Now the cello is big, so we can't hold it under the chin like we can the violin and viola. It's not gonna work. So instead of standing and playing it like that, we sit. We pull out this end pin right here, and we sit and play it like this. cello. So those are all the orchestra instruments. Now we're going to turn it over to Mr. Dunn, who's going to show you the band instruments. Take it away, Mr. Dunn.
I'm Mr. Dunn again, and these are the instruments of the band that I'm going to demonstrate for you. The first instrument, the highest pitched woodwind instrument that we offer in 5th grade band, is the flute. And the flute is a woodwind instrument where you blow across the head joint like you would a pop bottle. And it makes a little tooting sound. When you put it together on the instrument, it sounds like this. And I'll play Twinkle Twinkle, should sound like this. And that's the flute. The next instrument that I'm going to show you is the clarinet. Clarinet is also a member of the woodwind family, but instead of blowing across the mouthpiece like you did on the flute, the clarinet has a small single reed attached to the mouthpiece. We call it a reed. It is usually made of cane, and you can see it's strapped onto the mouthpiece. And when I form my embouchure, or the muscles of my mouth the right way, we get sort of a little duck call. But when we put it together on the instrument, you can hear how it sounds. And I'll play Twinkle Twinkle so you can compare. This is the clarinet. The next instrument that I'm going to show you is the trumpet. The trumpet is a member of the brass family. All brass instruments have a similar thing in common, and that is they use a small metal cup-shaped mouthpiece like this, which you put your lips together and buzz like you're making a strawberry sound. When you try it in the mouthpiece, it amplifies. And when you change the strength of your lips, you can go from high to low. But when we plug it into the instrument and we change our valves, we can make music with it. Now, another thing about the brass instruments, like I said, if you change your lip strength, then you can get higher or lower notes, and actually the valves only change part of the sound. So I can do a lot of changing with my lips only. And this is the trumpet. The final instrument of the band family is the trombone. And the trombone is also a member of the brass instruments. And you can see that it has, again, a large cup-shaped mouthpiece, but it is bigger than the trumpets. So let's do some buzzing with the trombone mouthpiece. Instantly, you can tell it's a lot lower sound. So when we plug it into the instrument, you'll notice probably the first thing is there are no valves, there are no keys on a trombone. It has a slide. So much of the trombone playing, pitch changing, is happening with your lips, just like the trumpet. And I'll play Twinkle Twinkle so you can compare. We thought it would be fun to see what the trombone looks like from a distance so you could see the entire slide. This is the trombone.
So to recap, the choices of instruments you have: for orchestra, we have violin, the viola, and the cello.
And to recap, the band instruments that you can choose are flute, clarinet, trumpet, or trombone. If you want to join the band or the orchestra, you'll need to fill out a sign-up sheet. There will be a link in your teacher's Google Classroom where you can sign up for band or orchestra. Fill out all the details of this link, including your school, your homeroom teacher, your name, your parent's name, an email, phone number. Be careful to write the emails very carefully so that we can communicate with you. Most years we do interviews and fittings with students, but this year will be a little different because of our current situation. After you click submit, we will get back to you with the supplies that you will need to get your instrument at the music store. Music store rentals can happen online, and many of the music stores will also deliver directly to your home. Be sure to let us know if there are financial struggles to see if we can find possible solutions. Most students rent their instruments from a music store. Feel free to pause this so you can browse their websites for rental prices.
So, join band and orchestra!